online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Got the drink and
Welcome
going bad
to the NXT After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am one of your hosts, the Internet's Soapbox, Mark Donica, but you can find me on Twitter now at Mark B. Donica. And today, the B stands for Bull, and we'll get into that later. Joining me today, Mr. Bill Hanstock, a wonderful, wonderful human being. I missed you.
Buddy,
You
I
and
missed you.
you and Hobo were in Florida at the same time, and we were missing you.
We were
down
actually
here.
hanging out quite a bit.
You monster. We'll hear more from Hobo later, but joining us for the first time on the NXT After Show is Mr. Jesse Klein.
Hi everyone, how's it
The
going?
marvelous Jesse Klein, if I may say so.
Thank you, Steven.
Has a little bit of a pun in there too. We do the Daredevil and Jessica Jones after shows, but you also do the Agent Carter and
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Agents
yeah.
of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be on the NXT podcast. I love this show. I'm really jazzed.
We got a pretty dang good show to talk about today. Welcome to the first episode that is AC, the AC era of AfterBuzz, which is the After Kathy era. We'll miss her. We got cupcakes and developmental going.
But I'd just like everyone to know.
He's a Kathy Kelly guy, which is no longer available on the NXT shop for reasons that I can't say in public. But tonight's show was jam-packed. We have 5 huge matches, some bigger than others. 5 large matches, relatively speaking, starting with Baron Corbin and Johnny Gargano. And Bill, just as a point of discussion, you were at these tapings.
I was at these tapings. This is the first show from the tapings that I went to at the CFE Arena the Friday before Royal Rumble, and just some inside info for y'all. I'll be providing the in-arena experience as we go through this, but I just wanted people to know that the first thing that we saw on this set of tapings was a dark match between the former La Sombra, I believe Manny Fernandez? Not Manny Fernandez. That's the guy who made that guy puke blood.
Yeah.
Between La Sombra and Rich Swann, and it was awesome. And hopefully we'll get to see some of these dark matches someday on something we can watch.
What's your history with Rich Swann and La Sombra? Do you know any of their previous work?
I do not know anything about La Sombra. I've seen Swan wrestle a few times in super exciting style. Like I like his style. It's exciting. So I would love to see him wrestle more. I don't know anything about La Sombra. I don't even know what that means.
So we know that it was taped, but it's usually for internal purposes.
Yeah.
Rich Swann has debuted on TV in a great debut match, and we're gonna see more of him soon, pretty sure. But with Baron Corbin and Gargano, this match felt pretty huge as a TV opener. Yeah. How did it feel being there?
Such a good match live. And what's crazy to people who may not be aware, this show, the CFE Arena show, started taping around 7-8.
Whoa.
That's late.
Yeah. But here's the crazier part of that is earlier in the evening, Johnny Gargano wrestled in Ybor City for Evolve.
Yeah.
Then went to Orlando to wrestle on the NXT show. And then the next 2 days he wrestled for Evolve. So he wrestled not only 2 shows in one day for 2 different companies, but on Friday he was wrestling for NXT. On Saturday he was winning the first ever Evolve tag team titles with his partner Drew Galloway, who's under contract at TNA.
Evolve is such an interesting microcosm, and we that weekend or that next week we reported on it, and Hobo talked about the backstage atmosphere. To be in a place, I mean, with Drew Galloway, just even being a part of Evolve and being televised shows how kind of loose that company is right now, but the possibilities of Evolve being this next huge company that everybody's going to go, oh, I remember them from Evolve.
Yeah.
And this match showed, if people weren't already pretty familiar with Johnny Gargano at this point, showed why he should be under contract and how he can hang with the big boys.
But him not being under contract right now is such a good thing for him and for Ciampa.
And for the company too.
But because it's not only like spreading goodwill about NXT and spreading goodwill about Evolve and spreading goodwill about the Indies and making NXT/WWE fans more aware of the Indies, but now Ciampa and Gargano are two guys who get to book themselves places saying like NXT talent so and so, up their booking fee and make money for working NXT and for working the Indies instead of just being locked into that developmental contract.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
What were some of your guys' highlights from this match?
I just like Johnny Gargano's small guy style, like just like those quick hits back and forth, really clashed well.
For a guy like Baron Corbin, who has a boxing background, to try to go blow for blow in fisticuffs with this guy, not only takes balls, but you have to be confident that every strike has enough power to try to take this guy down. And it was his straight left to top the match off was gross. And Corbin already was like, okay, I'm gonna have fun with this kid.
These two just play off. They work so well together.
They do.
Yeah,
and it's basically a testament to how awesome Corbin has gotten. That like
really?
you're watching that match and you're like, it's certainly not a case of like, well, Gargano carried that guy to a great match. It's these two awesome guys had a good match together.
Yeah, I think the two styles really meshed well, and like just the chemistry between the two of them, and like seeing Corbin do that thing where he ran away for a little bit and then came back in, like the swings and momentum were really satisfying.
Yeah, that's just a great heelish way to end a match. Is like run away from a guy who's getting the better of you, slide into the ring, and have him chase you right into your finisher.
And I think one of my favorite things about Baron Corbin these past couple of months has been the fact that he does the end of days and he sets up for it in so many different ways. And it's not just I'm just going to feed him into the ropes and then take him back. It's catch a guy from the top rope or make him run into me. Like it leaves a surprise element in where the first couple of months was like, oh, it's that move again and how he does that move again. But the chance for Corbin, speaking of his presence and how far he's evolved, thank you. But the chance against him seemed to come from a more natural boo, we don't like you because you're the bad guy, instead of can you stop wrestling please, we don't want you to wrestle.
I feel like Corbin hasn't gotten those go away boos since the match with Joe at
no, definitely not. And we've been talking about his improvements since then. That was one of our show stealers from that show. That was so much fun.
He was doing a lot of like talking to the ref. He called him an old man.
It's like, dude, bro looks younger than you.
Yeah,
he is so good. He's such a good heel. He's grown into his heel role and his charisma so much. But he also has one of the best motivations for a heel ever, in that he hates independent wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's the best. He doesn't think that they're entitled to anything. It's so great. It's such a brilliant idea.
And with the addition of his storylines on Breaking Ground, it kind of enhances him as like, oh, okay, this is a part where it's his himself, but turned up a little bit and made into a character, as opposed to, I mean, I like people, I don't care for this line of work. I should be on top no matter what. It was a lot of fun. Baron Corbin ends up winning with the end of days, as previously mentioned, in a excellent start to a taping as well as to a show. In the back, we see Sammy with Alex Reyes. He was disappointed that the decision wasn't in his favor, but it's just another obstacle. No way he's going to let Joe stand in the way of becoming the first two-time NXT champion. And isn't it about how long you hold the championship as opposed to how many reigns you have? What's your guys' take on that?
I'll let you start this.
I mean, I don't know, because I think a lot of times when I think about like some of the people who've held championships multiple times, like it can be impressive. Like the more, like when you get like 16-time champion or something like that, like that's pretty impressive. But at the same time, I think length I guess can also be more important. I go for number of times you've won it, which means you've lost it and then had to fight your way back to getting it again.
Two things about the focus on number of times being champion as opposed to longevity.
Sure.
Traditionally for boxing and things like that, like being undefeated, holding the title for longer makes more sense, and you would think that would transition to like a fighting sport,
an
like
action
wrestling,
sport.
right? But the popular sports mentality in America and all over the world is how many times you've won a championship. I mean, like Yankees fans have bragging rights because they have 26 or 27 world championships. Like, it's how many times you've won that top title. But the other thing about it is, historically, if you were the world champion of a territory or of a company, you were singled out as someone special that they chose to represent that company, that they chose to believe in, that they knew that you wouldn't screw them over. So them investing that belief in you X number of times means something.
Fair play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's Ric Flair's 16 versus John Cena's 15.
Right. And Triple H is 14.
And Triple H is 14.
And Randy Orton's 12.
And it's 12?
It's at least 12.
Oh my god. And with
they sneak up on you, man.
They do.
And with boxing, the booking is so different that when you hold a boxing title, you're a lot of times when you're defending that title, it's against not viable threats. Like a lot of times the way they book it is against someone who probably won't win that title. Where I feel like with wrestling, just the way they craft it, it seems like it could change hands every time you defend that title.
Yeah. And especially in NXT where that's happened, you don't have to lose it on a big stage show.
Yeah.
You can lose it on a weekly television taping.
Just real quick, we got some discussion in the chat about Brock Lesnar guy being there for this show, the sign guy being there.
Yep.
I want to let everyone know that being there in the arena, all of the WWE super fans were there. All of them.
Really?
Noel was there. The Clown was there.
New Noel was there.
Everybody was. The guy who wears like the suit, the white suit with all the like logos all over it.
I don't remember him.
Someone will tell you about him.
Probably. Please. Let us know who your favorite
sign
fan
guy
is.
was actually at the Evolve shows too, at least the Saturday, or at least
Not
the Sunday one,
surprising. That's a huge wrestling weekend, so I'm not surprised that so many folks were there. We got another look at vaudevillains probably becoming bad guys again, more than likely.
It's about time.
Yeah.
They need to do something.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not like they're gonna change their name to the Vaude Heroes.
Yeah.
And the tag division in NXT is so like right now just full of talent. Like I feel like they gotta do something.
They have a way to make anybody, and the whole tag team division makes anybody that they're in the ring with look fantastic, and it gives them a chance to train in a type of wrestling that is back on the rise that folks may not have necessarily trained in.
Yeah.
Other than, I need a spot on the show, sure, I'll be in a tag team. And speaking of that, John Schuyler and Corey Hollis return, i.e. local talent, return to face the Hype Bros in what wasn't entirely a squash match, but they got some good heel offense in there.
They got some...
A little bit cheap heat.
Yeah, would you say that the Skylar was the limit? I'm trying to keep the puns here, everybody.
We're gonna keep it. That's how we keep the spirit alive.
I'm trying.
Walt Disney's ghost in his apartment above Disneyland.
Well, I mean, they lost last time, so they were trying to get their mojo back.
No, never mind. I'm gonna let it go.
See,
I don't want to writer this joke out too long.
Right. See, that's the bummer, is you can't do puns for Ryder because all of his moves are already puns.
Exactly. Yeah. So what did you guys think of this match? Actually, first of all, did you see the Hype Bros promo after their loss last week?
Yeah.
That was an awesome promo.
Really well
Mojo keeps going more and more insane every week, and Zach is the concerned older brother. They're too much fun, and they're another one of these teams that you look at them and go, they don't have to win the tag team titles, and when they go into the main roster, you can imagine a 100,000 crowd saying he ain't hype back at Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought Mojo had some really good offense in this. When he threw the guy against the ropes and then went the other way and then shoulder tackled him, I thought that was super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's maybe a little bit strange to say, but like Ryder has like brought out so much good stuff in Raleigh, and I mean, a lot of people didn't think that there was going to be like any life left in Mojo Rawley. We saw in Breaking, like I think Breaking Ground has helped him too, and that we like see like, oh, it's not a gimmick.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah,
this guy is bonkers.
And it was interesting to see. Also, they changed his finisher around. The hyperdrive was his sequence of shoulder charges and the sitting on his opponent.
What was the butthole attack called?
That was the hyperdrive.
Hyperdrive.
Yeah, it was a series of moves in succession. So now it's the fireman's carry flapjack that he's been doing the past couple of weeks is now the hyperdrive. But the hyperdrive to the broski boot to the hype rider for the win. And this team is fun. They're judging from the promo at the end of their match last week, they don't need to win to be fun or entertaining. And I can't wait to see all of the tag teams, man. You just want them to do so well, and they will. But you can't have a tag team that you don't want anybody to be fed to them like of the ones that we already have.
And that's why you have local talent.
And that's why you have once this tag team, of course known as local talent, outgrows NXT maybe, then we're going to need a new expression.
Now I suddenly want nothing more than like, do you remember the tag team Well Done during the New Generation era?
Yes,
it was, like,
I do. Timothy
Well and Bob Dunn or whatever. We need like Johnny Local and Jimbo Talent.
Their finishers are like an elbow drop and a clothesline.
Yeah,
it's one of them just a snapmare.
It's a double body slam. Yeah. Black tights, black.
And how long has it been since we've just seen a good old fashioned two guys suplexing one guy? And not off the top rope. No. Not a stacked up stupid plex.
Not a Christian?
Tower of Power?
It's been a while.
I don't know if it's been that long. There's been a lot of tag team wrestling the past couple of years, so there's probably it might have happened on Superstars or Main Event without us knowing. From here, we go to Baymella in the back with Rich Brennan. Bayley talks about saying how keeping the title has been the biggest challenge. She's not quite ready to give it up just yet, and this is Carmella's biggest match of her career, her first title shot. Nothing's going to change their friendship after this, though. May the best woman win. A lot of the I'm not going to say appeal, but a lot of the buzz around this match was, well, maybe one of them is going to turn heel. And was there anything in this promo to give you that impression?
No.
Good.
Yeah, I loved it. It's two best friends that are, competing against each other. Like in real life, you've got a friend that you compete with. Like
unlike Joe and Finn during the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, there wasn't even a moment of like, good job, champ, like condescending, nothing. They're just good friends. It's great.
Good, and we need more of this because we have a seemingly a face versus face match. Good friends, good folks going after each other in the main event. And coming up here, we have Alexa Bliss versus Cameron in seemingly a heel versus heel match, which we've been seeing a little bit more of in both areas of the company, both the men's division and women's division. They made a comment though that I wanted to get your guys' opinion on. They keep saying moving up in the rankings. So with the amount of talent that we have in NXT, I know they do this in other companies, but would you want to see a type of actual ranking system put into place?
I might. ROH tried something like that way in the early going, and I think they're actually going back to it now. But Evolve tried that.
I know Evolve tried it.
They did what I mean. It's all in the execution. It could potentially be a really good idea, but it's all about maintaining it, making sure it makes sense, and doing something with it. The only problem is in UFC you have rankings and it makes sense. They're really ranked and they beat a guy and then move up in the rankings. But it's tough to in wrestling, since you're booking it, if you're going to do rankings, you have to have an end game. You have to think of where are these rankings going to go. You can't just arbitrarily be rankings.
Yeah, I think I would like it only if at first it is legitimate rankings and then it turns into being used for storylines.
Yeah.
Where you've got a heel who, no matter how bad he does, he's still at the top of the rankings because he's friends with whoever's making the rankings, or like a face that's trying to fight his way up the rankings and like keeps winning but can't move anywhere on it.
It screams authority.
Yeah.
There was that one main event where they actually got out an instant replay TV and then they never used it again. I think a fun implementation of this would be a tournament, like a tournament to determine a number one contender.
I think that in wrestling, it's just like, I think the best way to utilize ranking system is just to occasionally say he's moving up the rankings.
Yeah.
And like that puts in the mind of people like, oh, there are stakes. Like their wins and losses matter, and someone somewhere is keeping track of this. Like,
or just like the number 2 guy.
Yeah.
Like just saying that.
Next in line for a title shot.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about like getting Pro Wrestling Illustrated back in the day was like the top 10 rankings.
Yeah.
And like the secondary champion is always number 1 by default. So then like 2 through 10, you're like, oh, this, and then like, especially back like growing up in Northern California, like in the 90s, like looking through and be like, there's like 12 promotions? Like, crazy.
And seeing a hobo on the top 500, the PWI 500. But bringing that up, it seems like they're trying to put Alexa Bliss and or Cameron synonymously with the title picture with this match. They're trying to make everybody start thinking, as a result of the main event, though, it's a very crowded area at the top.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Alexa Bliss back into the fold, it seems, with her victory tonight. Not to bury the lead too much. We don't see Cameron too much. We know that she's training at NXT. She does some training out here too. But what did you think of both performances in this match?
Go ahead.
I thought Cameron had some good, like, it was interesting because of both heels, and it was interesting seeing them kind of do both kind of heel moves against each other. Lots of stomps, lots of like grinding against ropes and stuff like that. It seemed like they missed a couple spots. I think it's just because I think both of them are a little rusty, and I think I'm looking forward to seeing both of them move forward. I think, Alexa Bliss's moveset is really exciting and kind of cool to watch. So like
It's different.
Yeah, there's no one who's really wrestling like her. To see her move forward would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for Cameron because I love Total Divas so much. I mean, this match was no Melina versus Alicia Fox, but I mean, what is?
Maybe
I
never
really
reach that height again.
One of my favorite things in wrestling is seeing people improve, and there's no doubt that Cameron's gotten a lot better. I mean, she still has a ways to go.
Sure,
she's gotten so much better, and I feel a little bit bad that like the NXT crowd in general seems less willing to give like the Total Divas a chance.
They're stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
Like that, she did that splits kick or whatever to Alexa Bliss, which looked fine on TV. In the arena, it looked horrible. It just looked horrible. Like it probably, like I watched it and I was like, that might look okay on TV, but like to the arena, it looked abysmal. And everyone just immediately at that point, like there was like Cameron couldn't do anything to get them back.
So do you think there's more of an attention on making sure that it looks good for TV?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what you have to do.
And, of course. I mean, that's part of professional or television professional wrestling training is playing to the camera. But I do agree that she's improved. There was
you liked her ascot.
I did like it. Was a miniature tie that I thought was an ascot.
It was a tie she took from a tiny child
or dog.
That's sad.
Just it looked like something you would get at Petco. But I think that she has an idea on presence, and she's never lost that. But I think she needs to work more on her confidence in that area because the physicality is almost there.
Yeah, I like that double knee on the ropes that she did after that split kick. I thought it looked good.
Yeah, that was gross, if I may say so.
And she didn't try to pin anybody face down.
No, God, no. We've gotten far away from that. And happy that Alexa is got the little Popeye today, got the victory. Always a big fan of Alexa Bliss here on the show, and I hope that at some point we will be able to see the pun off between her and Kathy Kelly. In the backstage, we see Enzo and Cass. A quick reminder: they are not done with Dash and Dawson, and then American Alpha shows up and starts having some fun. Oh,
no, just keep going.
I don't know. No, you're.
No, I'm shaking my head because of how much I loved it.
Okay, because you're going.
It was so good. Like that, it's that sort of reaction.
Gable is an awkward. He's just a very entertaining form of awkward.
So good.
The point of the whole promo was that we're going to be getting an 8-man tag next week with American Alpha and Zoe and Cass versus Dash and Dawson and Blake and Murphy. But it's Gable stole the show again.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah,
he's got layers.
Doing awkward is super hard to do.
Well, that's just his natural charisma. He has the same thing that Daniel Bryan has.
Yeah.
Like that's why that's why we love him so much. That's why we're going to get behind him. That's why the WWE fans are going to get behind him.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, just like being able to be awkward and not kill energy is like not take the oxygen out of the room is really hard to do, and like especially with these guys, like it was a perfect kind of bounce against these two tag teams. It was great.
Because Zoe is kind of picks up in the middle of a sentence, so by letting that little bit of awkwardness there, he still had the timing enough to let that sit for a couple seconds, and then boom, he's right back into it. Tiramisu over here.
It was just such a beautiful segment that made my eyeballs turn into hearts. And just having all four of these guys in one segment was just so great. And arguably, these are the four most entertaining people in NXT. And if you have a segment with them, you're never going to be put to sleep. Is that right, Mark?
Oh, you would never be put to sleep. But
if you were to fall asleep,
if you were to fall asleep, you would want to get a good night's sleep. And the best advice I can give is this: to get a good night's sleep, you need a great mattress. So do what we do here at AfterBuzz TV and get yourself a Casper mattress. Then you'll really know what a good night's sleep is. It's really one of the most comfortable mattresses I've slept on. I'm not even exaggerating. Right. They were up and coming in 2015. I think Time named them one of the best inventions of 2015. I'm a big dude, so I need a lot of support, and it's.
Well, we're here for you.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. Especially after last week. But the cool thing is they give you this trial period. So Casper ships you the mattress for free. It's a really small box, surprisingly, but you can try it at home 100 nights risk free. Because the majority of your life you spend sleeping.
Nights.
That's a lot of nights.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of the nights, but it's not. It's 100. And if you don't like it, they'll pick it up from you and they will refund you for everything. So do us a favor. Stop counting sheep. Do yourself a favor. Go to Casper. Get a Casper. Go to Casper.com. Use code AfterBuzzTV for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. That's Casper.com. Code AfterBuzzTV for $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. That's Casper.com. Thank you for your support of the NXT After Show. Awesome. Thank you, Bill.
That was good.
But something that
was seamless.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Something that won't put you to sleep is Elias Samson versus Jesse Sorensen.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, because
there's a sleeper hold.
I will say, Elias was with Samson. What we've been getting the past couple of weeks is a lot of really sort of methodical, thought out action, whereas this is like you couldn't put a cork in him. He just kept moving, kept hitting a lot of knees, a lot of knee offense here. Even choked with a knee. What was this like in the crowd?
Okay, first thing is Jesse Sorensen. Like, no matter where he goes, forever he will pop up and like. As soon as the ring announcer says, because he's like kind of a hard guy to identify, like from across an arena. But like the second that an announcer says his name, like without fail, like at least 20 or 30 people around you will be like, "Oh, Jesse Sorensen." I know him.
Oh, good for him.
That's great. Yeah, I know that name. Okay, this is actually hilarious because I think there were 4 episodes taped.
There were 4 episodes. And you were there.
I was there.
I think there was like 4, maybe.
No. I mean, there were at least 3, but I remembered there being 4. I just didn't want to be wrong. Elias Samson wrestled on every one of them. Spoilers. But
You're not giving any spoilers here because you're just saying that he wrestled on them.
he was the only wrestler that was on more than 2, but he was on all of them. And like by the second one, people were like, "Boo! No, we do not like you." And that it was people hate this dude like legit.
There was a chant, "Drift away," that one very, very loud guy started.
Which now we just are imagining as Triple H.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, they like Triple H. They appreciate him booking Elias Samson on
Thank you,
many
Triple
things.
H. We appreciate you. He gets the win with I'm just calling it the heavy whip neck breaker, just to give it some sort of a force. It's just a spinning neck breaker.
Here's the thing. I could listen to Corey Graves make fun of Elias Samson for hours. Him talking about him being in listening to Nickelback on a jukebox.
No, that was somebody that looked like him.
Oh,
it could have been him,
it
but
could
we
have been.
don't know.
We don't know.
Oh yeah, I have to say, like, Corey Graves' commentary made this so much more awesome than watching it live.
Yeah.
So, most shows.
Right. But I actually really like he used the elbow drop finisher, and like people have been harping on him for using just a swinging neck breaker as a finisher, but I really like the velocity. I do too.
Yeah.
I like the stank he puts on.
That's sweet. Yeah. Sweet Samson stank.
So let us all brainstorm a name for his finisher. I mean, you probably shouldn't call it driftwood.
No. So let's go. Who's got one first?
My pitch was the bus stop.
The bus stop.
It's good. I have to think.
The broken bindle.
Ooh.
And he hits him with a broken bindle.
I think the hobo might be upset about what we're implying here.
No,
he's not necessarily
a hobo. He's a
homeless.
drifter.
He's a drifter.
What about the trash fire?
Whoa. Hey. Yeah,
Tire fire.
I think that's welcoming too much stuff.
You got anything? Nothing? That's fine. You were there.
Park bench nap.
No, that's not a drifter.
The Lonesome Road.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
The Lonesome Road.
There you go.
Very cool. And you can team
You're
up with
welcome,
Cody.
NXT.
Dude, trust me, we get that a lot. Wink. Like Eva Marie's Sliced Red #2.
Yes.
That was Jimbo. That was 100% Jimbo. So yeah, not very impressive. Excited to learn that we're going to get more Elias Samson moving forward. In the back, Apollo Crews with Alex Reyes. He has no regrets and asking for his match with Finn Balor, and now he knows what it means to be the best. And the next time we see Apollo Crews in the ring, we're going to see a new Apollo Crews.
Wait. So
Go on.
He knows what it means to be the best by virtue of not being it?
Yeah,
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, no, he saw the height that he would have to achieve to be the best.
Oh, I see.
In Finn Balor.
So he knows
him.
what to shoot for.
Yes.
He doesn't know what it's like.
That's he knows what it means.
I'm just saying, like, oh, okay.
He knows what it
means.
He knows what it means to be the best now that he's been there.
Right.
Do you think we're going to see a little bit of a change up in how Apollo does business?
Maybe. I mean, he's already like fighting at such a high caliber level. Like, I think maybe we're just going to get more like promos from him. Like, maybe he's going to try and push himself more. Like that kind of thing. Like right now, the talk is Joe saying, and then maybe like Baron, like maybe he's trying to push himself into that kind of top tier. I mean, he's so good on the mic. Like I'm okay with more promos from him. Like he's got great face mic work. So
yeah. The one thing I would say about this promo, the one thing that I have with a lot of people sometimes with their promos is where they decide to look, because you can either look at the person asking the question off into the distance or right at the camera. And with Apollo sometimes and a couple of other folks, it looks like when they're looking off that they're looking at a cue card. Not that they're reading, but that they found a point to fixate on instead of just like being lost in. You know what? I knew what it took, and it just wasn't that great. So when I come back, you're going to see a new. Instead of just sort of being lost in their head, they're like, no, that's the spot right there. I'm going to look right there at that spot.
For those of you home, Mark does have a cue card that says, you know what, it was great. I know what's going on.
Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I need to clean my glasses off. From here, we go to our main event, which is, I was trying to do an impression there of somebody that I should not name drop. Carmella versus Bayley. We get our show lighting. The girls lose their spotlights, but they hug out of respect, something that we don't see too often. We see a handshake, don't often see a hug. at least at the beginning of the match.
other.
They do. They're best friends.
Yeah.
This was an awesome match.
I really liked it.
Carmella, we've seen Carmella in a lot of big matches, but not on this level yet. And she came, kicked ass, but did not win, unfortunately. What were your favorite parts of Carmella versus Bayley?
I liked Carmella going through the second rope twice. I thought that was really exciting. I don't think we'd ever seen anything like that from her before. It was super cool. And Bayley taking those big hits was also really cool.
And Bayley giving those big hits too.
Yeah, too. Oh,
jeez.
She stood up and clotheslined her out of the turnbuckle.
Yep.
And it was huge. It was a big clothesline.
Yeah. No, I loved the two topes, and I loved the I just loved the ability to tell a story where two people like genuinely care for each other but are doing everything they can to win the match, and it never once being an issue of like, well, one turn on the other.
And when Bayley was first sent to the outside, there was that moment where Carmella could have done the storyline thing of, oh, she's my friend, I have to make sure she's okay. No, she went for the dive.
Yeah.
And even better than that, she went for another one.
The old Chinatown moment. She's my mother, she's my sister.
That's a good pull. This was a type of a match that we saw with, I would say, in a similar tone to Finn and Apollo, but with the added aspect of they're best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I think like probably the best part of the match is the ending, not just like the finish of the match, but what happened after.
After everything was resolved in the ring.
Yeah.
So yes, we got I'm all the way to the end. A series of roll-ups is what ended up causing Bayley to get the pin. A lot of love, a lot of hugs. Everybody's raising the arms. Carmella leaves Bayley to have her moment in the ring.
I do just want to quickly touch on the series of roll-ups. I enjoyed it in the arena when I watched it. It was genuinely surprising to me, especially because like one of my very best friends, like one of his biggest pet peeves is any wrestler, whether they're in WWE or on the Indies, but it usually happens on the Indies, doing the Benoit Guerrero reversal sequence, because it never ends a match, and like there's absolutely no suspension of disbelief of maybe one of them will catch a pin. It's just, oh look, they're doing the Guerrero Malenko reversal sequence. So to have that actually in the match, I was like, yes, you have to do it at least once in a while, otherwise it doesn't mean anything at all.
Because now it's going to be something hanging over the women's division and NXT as a whole for it worked once, maybe it'll work now.
Yeah, and it's also kind of a good reminder just that the pin itself is a move and can be difficult to get out of.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
So Carmella leaves Bayley to have her moment in the ring as the victor, and we hear the crowd go have a quick uproar. Something's going on the entrance ramp. We see Eva Marie and Nia Jax, Nia Jax, beating up Carmella like the Dickens that they are, just beating the crap out of her. Bayley tries to get involved, but they throw her away. They carry Carmella into the middle of the ring. A couple of leg drops onto Carmella from Nia, and a big stomp from Eva Marie into Carmella, and all of a sudden, Miss Asuka has already made her way down to the ring with no music, no nothing, just a lot of applause.
Yeah.
This was really scary. I legitimately felt afraid for at least Eva Marie's life. I think Nia can handle herself. But it was just this feeling of, yo, we should bounce, and just slowly backing off. What about this did you guys like aside from all of it? as a quick note?
Yeah, all of it.
I like it when you can have someone enter and it completely changes the room. And like you could feel, I don't know what it was like live, but you could feel it on TV. Like as soon as you saw Asuka, like everything changed. And you're like, I was like, is she gonna kick both of them at the same time? Like,
how's that gonna work?
I was like,
they like layer themselves so that she can get across both of their chests or something?
I legitimately believed that she was going to kick both of them at the same time.
Yeah, the crowd lost their minds when Asuka showed up. And it was such a great moment. Someone in chat is asking who was screaming like a banshee, and that was definitely not something that I heard from my seat in the arena. And when I was watching it on back, I was like, is Eva Marie screaming while she's kicking someone? And then I was like, oh no, it's just a crazy person.
That was somebody screaming for Bayley to like come and help.
Yeah.
But as I half wish that it was Eva Marie, because then everybody would be like, okay, maybe we should stop chanting like this because it's having an adverse effect on her mental health. Asuka makes the save. Bayley makes it back into the ring. And we get a stare down from Asuka and Bayley. There's so many things that could happen from 5 people in the ring and 1 title.
I mean, Asuka saved her best friend.
Mm-hmm. What better way to thank her than with a title match?
Yeah.
But Nia and Eva Marie attacked Bayley.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that can happen. A way to make Carmella feel better would be to give her a title shot again. There's a lot of ways that this can work out.
Like, it's clear that Asuka's like the final boss for Bayley. But like at the same time, like Nia Jax and Asuka are like the final boss for each other. Mm-hmm. So it's like Asuka's on a collision course with Nia Jax, that's clear. Asuka's also on a collision course with Bayley, and that's clear. It's crazy. It's going to be awesome to see how this all shakes out.
It's like Nia Jax is M. Bison, and Asuka is Akuma. Mm-hmm. Just a total demon that can take out anybody for any reason.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can argue with that analogy.
People will try. This would have been an awesome way to end the show. And usually I'm not a big fan of the pre-recorded backstage interviews, but Samoa Joe in the back, Sammy, by your actions, I see that you're ungrateful. I saved your career. I saved your life. And anything that I've given, I must take away. You will realize what stands before you is the inevitable, for I will be the next NXT champion. He's gonna kill Sami Zayn. He's gonna take his life away from him. Holy crap!
Yeah, that's... Well, he did murder Scott Steiner in a parking lot one time.
Fair play. This promo. What do you guys think? This is killer.
I really liked it. I thought it was
literally
a great promo.
killer.
I thought it was a great promo. A little bit of me was disappointed that he didn't just grunt and walk away.
I was half expecting that too, but this is a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, Samoa Joe's so good at like cutting those types of promos. I think he and Zayn have such a cool rivalry. It's just really helping us get super excited for that fight. Like, it's gonna be awesome.
And it's giving it stakes that were kind of present before. Now it's getting that much more personal. Now that you got the interloper Baron Corbin out of the way.
Revitalized Joe is just so good for NXT and so good for professional wrestling. Like, ever since TakeOver Brooklyn, like, a switch has been flipped, and it's like, there's the guy that we've been wanting in WWE for a decade.
Exactly, because the first couple of months he was there, I was like, okay, he's trying to get his footing, but ultimately I know that Joe can perform, and we all know now everybody has been put on notice.
Yeah, I think because of him, he's one of those guys that because of him everyone else has stepped up their game. And like because he's so technically sound, he's got such good like body language in the ring, like everyone's had to step up their game. It's a great kind of, he's more experienced than a lot of these people, and like seeing him kind of force everyone else to get to his level is great.
Yeah, a great show today from NXT. A wonderful show to start out the AC era. But before we get going, we got some news and gossip.
Is there a theme song?
AfterBuzz TV. Yeah, we do. We got a theme song. So, unfortunately, we're starting with a little bit of bad news. Last Friday, 5 NXT stars were released, including somebody near and dear to all of our hearts here on the NXT team, and that's Mr. Bull Dempsey.
And him getting released is bull.
It is.
But go to ProWrestlingTees.com.
/bull. ProWrestlingTees.com/bull. He's got 3 designs up. BookBullDempsey@gmail.com. Bull Dempsey, Sylvester Lafore, always one of my favorites.
So good.
Marcus Louis, and then Oscar Vasquez and Pete Howard, who haven't debuted on TV yet. Howard was a rugby player, and Oscar Vasquez was a luchador who worked with Ring of Honor as well as TNA. Marcus Louis, actually, the Pro Wrestling Sheet announced or had an exclusive release today that Marcus Louis wrote a suburban sci-fi novel that's like Buffy but on steroids. And he finished the first one and he's going to write a second, and after he finishes the second he's going to go option and try to pitch them. Awesome.
Very excited about this.
Super cool. And Marcus Sylvester Louis, brain. Sylvester Lefort, Tom LaRuffa, has now found a love of painting in his time healing at NXT, so he's going to be doing that a little bit more.
I want to make a bunch of jokes about the Nicolas Cage movie Zandalee, but I'm not going to. Go ahead.
How many people would that hit with, really?
You. Maybe. Not even you.
Also, Finn Balor injured his ankle at last Friday's live event in Nashville, Tennessee, and was unable to compete at the Indiana show. There's no update on the situation with the NXT title. There's plenty of time before WrestleMania and Takeover, so hopefully, if it is minor enough, he'll be able to get back into the ring. But we got some time. We got a month and a half. Hopefully, he can try to recover. The best thing to come out of it, though, and unfortunately we don't have a video of it, was Bayley trying to cheer up Finn Balor when he made an announcement that he couldn't wrestle. He came out in crutches. Bayley came out with his jacket to Finn Balor's music and did the whole pose and everything. And they had a fun little segment in the ring where after they hit Bayley's music, Balor started trying to do the hand thing and like falling out of his crutches. Bayley's like, "Oh my God, stop!" Very adorable. Cage Side Seats has a great video on it.
Good plug.
It's a good website. Bill, have you heard of it?
A little bit, yeah.
And last thing, a big rumor that's been going around since about Thursday night is a little acquisition of there's a new announcer. Maybe it hasn't been confirmed by WWE yet. Somebody by the name of Catherine Kelly being hired by the WWE for something. No confirmation. It's a fun rumor that's been making the rounds.
It's really weird.
It's really weird. Cool. Sounds familiar. Hopefully we get a little bit more news on that soon. In a completely unrelated story, we really miss Kathy. So as the last little bit for news and gossip, we actually have a message from the hobo who is in Australia right now training with Carlo Cannon.
Nice.
So enjoy this message from the hobo, not live, from Australia. They're going to cue it up in a second. So we have a lot of injuries and a lot of releases, unfortunately, to deal with. How intense do you think the card could change when it comes to Takeover? Do you think we'll see any changes?
I don't think so.
I mean, I think depending on Balor. I mean, if Balor's fine, then that's.
He's got a few weeks to recover, and it's just a sprain. So
Yeah.
Is it a sprain?
Yeah, it's just like a sprained ankle. But like, if there's anyone like Finn's the type of guy that would just work through it. Like,
do you think they would let him?
Yeah.
After all of this,
if there's no, and it's not a head injury, so if it's just like if there's no broken bone, yeah, I think that it would be fine.
Okay, good. I agree. I hope that it is nothing really to be ashamed of. Speaking of being ashamed of things, we do have a short video here from the hobo. Please enjoy.
Greetings, NXT team. I come to you today from the Vicious Pursuit Professional Wrestling Academy in South Melbourne, owned and operated by my friend and good friend of the show, Carlo Cannon. As much fun as I'm having here in Australia, I have to admit, I am missing all of you. And I am very sorry that I could not be there for the retirement of Mr. Daniel Bryan, which was a moment I know touched us all very deeply. And it was very difficult for me to miss the final AfterBuzz broadcast of Miss Kathy Kelly, which was such a bittersweet moment. But would you believe that it was Kathy herself who told me not to derail my plans to travel to the land down under? Yes, that's right, because Kathy, Mark, and myself are all dedicated to the continued growth and development of this very show and bringing you, the viewer, nothing but the highest quality professional wrestling knowledge to each and every broadcast. My mission here in Australia has been to understand the environment that could breed so many NXT superstars, and I believe it first begins with passion. I have met so many professional, passionate people in Australia that are perhaps the most passionate in all of sports entertainment. And I believe, second, that it is the placement of this island continent that has served as a breeding ground for intense competition between the individuals who work in the Australian professional wrestling circuit. And I'm trying to soak up as much of that as I can before I return to the studio next week. But before then, you can follow me on Twitter @TrueHobo, where I'll continue to post updates on all my travels. And I'll be happy to share stories and answer your questions when I return to the studio next week. But until then, buzz you later.
So, fun note there. For those of you who don't follow Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Hobo actually came into a $5,000 prize from beating a guy named Bateman on a recent broadcast, which is why he's been doing all this traveling. And he told me that even without health insurance in Australia, apparently dental work is really cheap. Nice. So he got his teeth fixed as well as he could. So and I'm just so happy for him. We're really happy that he's getting a chance to travel. He will be back next week. But is there anything else from the show that you guys want to talk about in any more depth?
I mean, just the booking was so energetic. Mm-hmm. Like, just the way it started, there was never really a down moment. It was really well booked. I
liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Bill? Agreed.
Great. Yeah.
Fun to attend.
Very fun to attend. I'm looking forward to all the other subsequent weeks that we'll be seeing that I was privy to. The CFE Arena has probably like the best arena deal ever. Like,
how so?
They had those, like, when you go to an arena or a sports team, and like it's like you can get a soda in a paper cup that's small, or you can get like a big soda in like a plastic souvenir cup for like $12 or whatever. Well, no, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I do. But
CFE Arena they're the home of the UCF Knights, the Central Florida Knights. They have a thing where it's like the plastic souvenir cup that's $6 and it's unlimited refills.
That's cool.
I've never heard of that on an arena before.
Let's hope we can get more soda at more NXT events to bring it all home. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining me on this wonderful NXT after show. So before we go, put yourselves over. Let the folks know where you can find them.
Hi, everyone. You can find me at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1. You can see me doing the Agent Carter podcast, then the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. Then it'll be Daredevil Season 2 and Punisher and Luke Cage.
That's going to be fun.
I'm super excited about that. If you're in the Los Angeles area, I do live comedy pretty much every night. Next Wednesday, you can see me with my team Haymaker at 10:30 at the Pack Theater. It's a pretty fun sketch team.
I'm at Sundown Motel on Twitter. You can check out CageSideSeats.com and SBNation.com/wrestling for all of your wrestling coverage. Check out Rudo Radio, which is my wrestling podcast on iTunes. And I've got a couple movies on Netflix right now that I co-wrote. So if you want, check out Three-Headed Shark Attack starring Danny Trejo and Rob Van Dam, which I wrote.
I love a Three-Headed Shark Attack. If you have any sort of time, Go now. The show's over. You don't need to listen to hear me plug nxteam.spreadshirt.com or my Twitter account, which is Mark B. Donica. Today, the B stands for Bull. In solidarity, we love you, Bull. Hopefully, you come west side, and we'll be able to have you in studio. But for the wonderful panelists to my left, and for True Hobo, who will be back in studio next week, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.